everybody. We're very excited today to have Dr. Kimberly Keith of Hilltop Artists in Tacoma, Washington, here to talk about this wonderful program that has helped so many youth in that region lead new paths to better lives and resilient futures. And we have an exhibition here of work by former students, many of whom have gone on to be staff in the program as well. And Kimberly is their fearless leader and has done so much for the program, and I'm just very happy to have you here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for joining us today. As Deborah said, I'm Kim from Hilltop Artists. And Hilltop Artists is a youth development program in Tacoma that uses glass art to connect young people from diverse social and economic backgrounds to better futures. Better futures starts by having a good education. And so that's what we do, is we mentor and we educate. We think that art is a really great way to engage with young people, and it's really an important part of having a better future. Our students and their families and parents get connected to a lot of different resources in the community, because we don't just do art, we do full wraparound services for our students. Our program was started in 1994. The artist Dale Chihuly and the gallerist Kathy Kaparick saw that there were lots of kids in the Hilltop community that needed something to do. And so they wanted to create a space where young people could explore their creativity and they could come off the streets and have something tactile to engage in. And so the program started in 1994 with 4 couches that were just gathered from free out in the neighborhood, brought to what was then Jason Lee, which is now Hilltop Heritage Middle School. And kids could just kind of have a hangout space initially. But we started with 20 kids, and now we serve about 650 kids every year. Our programs are offered tuition free. And we grew from being Hilltop Artists in Residence, where, where's my next slide? Let me show a video now, and then I'll talk a little bit more.
Oftentimes people come into the program, they look at 12-year-olds blowing glass and they're like, who thought this was a good idea? But if you set the expectation high for these kids, so many of them will reach that expectation and go beyond.
The Hilltop Artists program for glass blowing gives you something to look forward to at the end of the day.
Being involved in arts has really helped me stay focused, because I really connected with it and I like it.
We've learned a lot of stuff, most of the stuff I make in here, like cups and bowls, I can use at home, and I've never been able to do that before.
What we do in working in the glass world is a very small community of people. But I think one of the things that this place does is it shows you that there's a larger, role that you can play in the community.
Before I took this glass blowing course, I did not consider myself an artist. I didn't think I was an artist. I didn't like the arts. I thought it was kind of phony. But coming into this class, I really learned how to express myself, and I was able to create things that I truly thought were beautiful. Just from my first gather, I knew it was something that I wanted to identify with and do whatever it takes to continue doing that for the rest of my life.
The program just goes kind of a step beyond what most programs do. Yes, we're an art program teaching 21st century skills in a school environment, but then we're also connecting these kids to all the social programs that they need.
Last year I was going through some stuff, and I came here and I felt secure. Art has always been kind of my way of coping through everything, and glass blowing is like everything to me now. So,
you know, a lot of the students that I work with, the population that I work with, it's a big deal for them to even come to school, to show up to school.
As much as we use glass to hook the kids and to get the kids to come up in here every day, that's not really why we're here. Our goal isn't to turn all of these students into glass artists and, you know, populate the world with more glass art, but it's to, you know, make them better citizens and hopefully find something in themselves that they didn't see before.
So I started the program when I was 12. Growing up, it was really hard. I went through a lot, and glass was always my go-to. This is my home, it's my family. Being that struggling kid, and then now being on the other side and being able to be there for the kids, it's a really cool feeling.
We've become sort of a family in here, and we help them through that tough time of being 12 up to 19 years old. So
It's a really friendly place. All the teachers really nice. It's like another family that you can have.
I think it's made me a better person because I'm excited to go to school.
Feeling like they're creative is an important skill, I think, these days, in order to, with the changing world and the economy and everything the way it is, to be able to constantly, you know, create a problem solver, reinvent yourself. I think that's what art does, and I think it's one of the wonderful skills that it provides these kids. Within a couple of weeks, they're making these beautiful objects that they take home, and their family and their friends see them and are oohing and eyeing and wondering, like, you made that? How did you even do that? That's amazing. So suddenly there's this pride in what they're doing, and you know, they've overcome this fear of the heat and the kind of the intimidation factor of the glass blowing. And now they're actually creating things. And then as they stay involved with the program, they get to pass those skills on to their friends, show their friends what they know, mentor, and all those things. And so you can turn kids on to going to college. You can turn kids on to education in a way that they never thought was possible before. And I think that's the future that these kids have.
Well, that's all the information you need, I guess. No. This video had been made before COVID, and during COVID, we created a program for our alumni students. So we actually serve young people up to age 26 now. I know in the video it said to 18, but we have a program for 18 to 26-year-olds now, which is part of our ongoing programs. And then I'll recall you back to Jacob Wilcox in the video, who said he thought that artists were phony balonies and he didn't believe in it. Well, he last year graduated from Alfred University with a degree in glass, and now he runs a neon shop in Seattle. And so he is the real deal. He is a full-time artist, and so I always look back at that video and have to laugh. Yeah. And so as I started to say before we started the video, our program started off as Hilltop Artists in Residence. And so in those initial summers in 1994, 95, and 96, Dale brought his friends in to be artists in residence. So that first summer it was Italo Sconga, Algernon Miller, Charlie Perriott, and then subsequent summers Charlie Perriott came back. We had Thurman Statham, we had Deborah Moore, Diane Hansen. Those artists came in and made their work with our students assisting them. And so they were in residence. Oh, and then also the Delatorre brothers. The Delatorre brothers had their first residency at Hilltop Artists, and I believe that was summer of 1996. And so the artists were making their work. Young people were learning what it was like to make art and be artists, and that's how the program started. Now, over time, since 1994, the program has shifted and has become Hilltop Artists, where we're working with young people from the Hilltop, and they are becoming the artists. We still have artists in residence, but that's not the primary teaching staff that we have. We have full-time instructors in our program. and we have developed the Hilltop family over time. And so I'm going to show some pictures of staff and kind of talk about Hilltop Artists as this family. In the picture on the right, that is staff and students and myself accepting the Washington State Organization of the Year Award in 2020. We got this award in February, so right before COVID, 6 weeks before COVID hit. Great year to be Organization of the Year, huh? But still, we had a great time. We're at the governor's mansion, kind of goofing around there. And that's what we do. We're serious, but we love to have fun and a good time. The photo on the left is Dale Chihuly, our co-founder, with some of our students. And I want to say that this photograph must be from, I don't know, maybe 1999, 2000, something like that. Because you'll see baby Trenton Kiocho, baby Sam Calise, baby Jessica Hogan, who are all artists in this show that we're seeing here today in Bainbridge, and who are instructors in our program. Jessica is our program director, Quentin is our production manager, Sam's an instructor, and then in the picture on the right, the gentleman on the leftmost is Tony Sorgenfree, who's also in this show here in Bainbridge. Tony was my first intern at the Museum of Glass back in 2002. So I've had the pleasure of watching him grow into our amazing program lead over at Silas High School. And these are some of our other staff that are here. Sam and Sasha Tepper Stewart. Greg Piercy recently retired from our program, but he was with us for 26 years. And so Greg basically taught all of the Hilltop artists ever. Jason, an instructor, Monique, there's Jessica working, Luis working, Trenton working, they're all in this show. There's Tony. I love the picture on the left that is Greg, Tony, and Trenton, because Greg taught Tony, Tony taught Trenton, now Trenton is teaching everybody in the program. And we keep it all in the family. We can talk about the pros and cons of that if you like in the Q&A. Here's some of our students and staff up at Pilchuck, and then in our studio, David Rios, Doug Burgess. They are also in the show here. And wait, that was Daria in the yellow t-shirt on the right. And so I think all of the artists that are represented here have been in the slideshow and are a part of our family. Now, what we do, I said initially that we started with 20 students or young people who came and hung out and then worked with artists. And now we work with 650 kids a year. And all of our programs are tuition free. And so now I'm going to talk a bit about our programs. We do daytime in-school elective classes. So if you're a student at either Hilltop Heritage Middle School or Silas High School, you can take glass making, glass blowing as an art elective at either of those schools. So any students at those schools can join those classes. And we do fusion, glass blowing, and flame working as part of the curriculum. So an 18-week semester would have 6 weeks of each practice, and then as you get more familiar, you can decide if you want to do more glass blowing or more fusion or what you would like to do. We also have artists who come and do residencies during the week. So we have 3 stations. So we would have a resident artist at one station, and then students could still use the other 2 glass blowing stations, for example. But we would have an artist, like this is Jason Christian, and that's some of his work. And so they could watch Jason making a dragon or making one of his umbrellas. And then we also have guest artists who come in the evenings and weekends. And so there's Martin Yanetsky, Joe Rosano, and Dante Marioni, who would come and do either, like we have winter warmer programs in January, February, and March where we have evening programs where we invite in the public and have artists working with our students, or we do week-long residencies with artists during the day and in the afternoon. We have after-school programs at both Hilltop Heritage and Silas High School. After-school programs are offered to any young people in Tacoma that want to come and attend. As long as they have transportation to the studio, it's a first come, first serve. And so you just have to either call in or use our online system for signing up for those. And you get to do lots of fun things. Like that middle photo is students making actual waffles for a snack, but then making glass waffles after school. And so that's fun. And then they made glass apples in the other picture. We have lots of fun with after school. We blow glass into pumpkins after we've carved pumpkins, and we make sugar cookies that are like making marini, and it's a lot of fun. After school is like really light and breezy and a fun group of kids. Summer Glass Arts is like after school. It's for any students from anywhere that wants to join in. After school and summer are enrichment programs. And once again, all tuition free for students that want to attend. During the pandemic, it was March 16th, just like when everybody else found out in 2020 that they were gonna have to shut down. And I told the staff, I was like, okay, we can have a pity party for a week, but in 3 weeks I wanna be up and running with some virtual programming, and we need to figure this out. And so we ended up doing like history of glass arts in the Northwest. And then we did related activities. We made activity kits and materials that went home with students. And then the instructors did virtual instruction. In the middle, Chase is holding a skateboard deck. We did a project in collaboration with Alchemy Skateboarding. And so we did lots of different creative things. You can see bags of materials getting ready to go out to students' houses. And so we operated all of our programs during COVID, except for our youth production programs, because we are located in Tacoma Public Schools, so we couldn't have anyone younger than 18 in our hot shops during COVID. So that hastened the development of the alumni program, which was already on the cards, but then we started it during COVID because those 18 and up students could come in and utilize the studio. Another program that we do is Arts Connect. Arts Connect is for young women who are involved with Pierce County Juvenile Court. So either in the diversion side, so the criminal side of the court, so the program is an alternative to incarceration, or on the dependency side of the court. And so they're involved in the civil side of the court, which could be foster care or truancy or different aspects therein. And this is a multidisciplinary arts program that we use glass, but then we also do filmmaking and drawing and printmaking and lots of other types of arts. And we work with local artists to deliver that programming. And Sasha Tepper-Stewart, who's one of the artists in this show, she is the manager of the Arts Connect program. And I will say that Arts Connect is actually, I started the Raymond Hall Women's Project at the Museum of Glass back in 2001 before the museum was opened. It was run there till 2009, and then it was brought to Hilltop Artists, and then it was rebranded and renamed Arts Connect. And so when I applied for my job 5 years ago, I said, well, I'm coming to get my job back. What do you mean? I helped to create this program, and And so that, I think, helped a bit for me to get in this role. And then it was really great going to the courts because like many of the people that I started the program with were still working there. And so kind of picked up where we left off. I had mentioned earlier that we do full wraparound services for our students who need them. And we have a full-time social worker on our staff who does outreach services. And so when students need anything, food, clothing, shelter, glasses, tutoring help, we're here for them. And so William spends a goodly portion of his days sitting and chatting with students and finding out what they need and helping them get the support that they need. And it is a group effort because we all work directly with students in some capacity, even me. I have a very open door policy, and lots of students come in and we chat, and I'm close to our students, and then if they have certain needs, we pass them on to Williams and he helps them out. Once you've been in the daytime program and after school and summer, if you're interested in learning more and continuing with the program, you will be invited to join team production. And we have 3 different phases of that. We have team production that happens Monday through Thursday in the evening from 5 to 8. And then we have Friday production, which is more advanced students, and that's from 3 to 9. And then we have our alumni team. And sometimes they work alongside the junior production students, and sometimes they work on the weekends. It just depends on what we're making. But basically, young people that are in production, they produce items that we then sell to support the program. While they produce the items, they earn a stipend for the hours that they are interning or apprenticing with us. And then it creates a circle for the students and for the program. We have 2 main sales each year. We have a winter sale in December. It's the first Saturday in December. We have a spring sale, which is the first Saturday, or actually it's the Saturday before Mother's Day in May. And then we have a fundraiser in October usually. And you can see in the picture on the left, people holding pumpkins. At our luncheon, we usually sell about 400 pumpkins. And then the Tacoma Glassblowing Studio does the pumpkin patch program, where they sell pumpkins from, I think, Everett North all the way down to Olympia at different garden stores in the fall. And so we usually sell another 350 or so pumpkins with them. Pumpkins are popular, and you can't just have one, you have to have your own pumpkin patch. And so we get lots of return folks getting pumpkins each year. And so our student Julian's making a pumpkin in that other photo. Very, very popular stuff. And so next I have a video about David Rios, who is an artist in this show. And he is also a team production member and now alumni team and staff. And actually, today, he's driving away to college at the Appalachian Center for Crafts.
My name is David Rios, and I'm a Hilltop artist. I am an alumni. I've been part of this program ever since I was in 8th grade. Why do I love Hilltop Artists? There's so many reasons why I support Hilltop Artists. It's a home for many students, a place, a safe zone where we can express ourselves freely without being worried about how we're seen. The staff, my God, the staff is incredible. They are able to connect youth with a diverse array of staff members. If you're having home problems, there's someone there. If you can't find food to eat, there's someone there at Hilltop Artists to help you, guide you, so you won't be lost. And that's why I love Hilltop Artists. They've done just an incredible job of bringing together the right community with the youth that we have going through these steps. What I miss about being in the Hot Shop studio is the vibes, the positivity. I've been in numerous hot shops now, and the atmosphere that Hilltop Artists creates is like none other. Back in 2015, when I was graduating from high school, I was awarded an ambassador scholarship to go to Biot, France with Hilltop Artists. Bonjour, je m'appelle David. This was the first time that I or any of my family had ever left the United States to go to Europe. It was an incredible moment for me, and I can't express how grateful I was for that opportunity and how it really opened my eyes. One story that I really wanted to focus on was failure. Oh man, I messed up a lot. Now, this is a story to many young glassblowers. Don't let failure ever put you down. The first few days that I was there with Antoine Pirini, I broke a lot of pieces. Now, I brought over a punty, and as we remember, the punty is just a transfer rod to a glass piece that can make it it's a really make or break situation. I wasn't really bringing over the best punties, and I believe like 7 or 8 pieces broke all in one day, back to back. And man, it was a moment where you feel like you don't belong. It's a moment where you feel that you weren't meant for this. It's a moment where you almost want to just like cry and go back home. But failure is just part of the process. It's okay. No one's perfect. You're just gonna stand back up and do better. I'm happy to say that the rest of the days after the first few days, we were able to make a lot. Now, I'm not saying we did an amazing job, but at least I was able to adapt and change. And that's something that I learned right here in this school and in this hot shop, is being able to adapt and change and when you face adversity.
We all have our favorites. David's one of mine. In these photos, you see some of the things we do: hot glass. We also teach cold working. And in these photos, our students are making centerpieces for our annual luncheon event. These were made during COVID. So these were I believe the 2020 centerpieces. And then we do other community projects and different things. This photograph over here, I call them bacon wrapped snow people, because I think the scarves look like bacon. I love them. And then those are Luis's mini snow people that are about 2.5 inches tall. He usually makes about 20 or 25 of those for the winter sale. Get your tickets early. Get 10 o'clock tickets if you want to get one, because they sell out usually within 20 minutes, half an hour. Those medallions are Monkey Shines. And Monkey Shines is a community-wide project that happens in Tacoma, started by Miss Monkey 17 years ago, where artists make items in glass originally, and they place them around the community on Lunar New Year, just so people have something fun to look forward to in the dark months of winter. We've gone through one lunar cycle, and now we're mid another one, because I think this will be the 18th year for Monkey Shines. And so our students help to make them. We have stamps with the different animals for each Lunar New Year, and we usually make around 2,000 of those and put them out all over the community. And now there's other artists who make painted rocks and pieces of ceramic and posters and all sorts of things, getting into the spirit of Monkey Shines, and it's hugely popular with our students. These are some pictures of our alumni team. That's Daria on the left, and her paintings are in this show, and that's Lynx. Our alumni team makes items, once again, that we sell to support the program. They make a stipend as well for doing that. Those are some really cool terrariums that they make. And then next we have another video of one of our alumni students.
So Hilltop is a lot more than just a glass program. And going through middle school and high school, it was just a safe community center where you can be yourself and make art. I am Jack Spitzer, and I am a student in the Hilltop Artists program. This year we're making centerpieces for our annual luncheon. This year for our centerpieces I designed the bowls with the help of the instructors, and we are making assorted low bowl shapes. The bowls are going to have two bubbles that get joined together to make the bowl, and that's called an encalmo. The bottom half of the bowl is a roller wrap in a solid color, and the top half is a transparent that matches that color, and the lip wrap matches the bottom color wrap. When I was in middle school and I started in the Hilltop Artists program, and I loved it, and I moved into the after-school program. You know, I enjoy woodworking and working on cars and glass blowing, so I'm super hands-on, and I really enjoy challenging things, skilled, you know, the woodworking, fine woodworking, and the technical mechanics, and glass blowing is extremely technical and skillful, and that's really what attracts me to it, is being really good and kind of being able to control the bubble. I learned from older kids in the program that were mentors, and that's kind of what happens when you go through the program, is you kind of start as a student and kind of work your way up, and you really become a mentor to the younger kids. And I try to do my best to be a positive, you know, influence and kind of role member to the younger kids. And I learned that from the museum team, you know, because that's kind of what they do to us. They are mentors, and they, you know, teach us glass blowing and communication and teamwork. And it's really important in the hot shop to have good communication and teamwork. And if you watch us, you'll notice we're always talking and communicating about timing and the process and what's next, and, you know, starting the next piece before we finish the final product. This year, I have decided I am going to pursue glass blowing and be a glass blower and live the dream. So, got to figure out how to do it, and you know, those are just the small details. But it's been yeah, kind of trying to, you know, think about pursuing glass or not, and I think at this point I kind of have to. I enjoy it so much. I have to try to do it.
Some of the artists that are in this show here at the Bainbridge Arts and Crafts Center are also in an exhibition at the Tacoma Art Museum right now. That's up through September 3rd, 2022, and Jack is one of the artists in that show. He's the youngest artist. He just turned 20, and I would highly recommend it if you're seeing this before September 3rd. Seeing that show, it's really exciting. Some of the other special projects that we do, we contribute to the Empty Bowls event that raises funds for a local food bank. In October, we participate in the Open Studio Tour, which is part of Tacoma Arts Month. I think this year it's October 15th. And that's a fun time where the public can come in and watch our students making things. But then we also do a hands-on activity where members of the public can make a paperweight. And so that's usually a very popular activity. We participate in National Summer Learning Week. A lot of our legislature members come through and meet our students. And then there's a picture of a big installation that we did at Idaho Base Camp. We also have a large installation at Mary Bridge Children's Center Hospital in Tacoma. We just last week had Arts Night Out, and it wasn't even last week, it was 3 days ago. It feels like it was last week. It was Tuesday the 2nd. We had 400 people from the community come. We had a DJ and free food, and we do demos and stuff like that. And then third Thursdays from 5 to 8 p.m., our students do demos at the Museum of Glass. every month, and that's really fun. And then we've just started doing library workshops in Tacoma. So we're going out into the South End and different libraries, and we are doing fusing tile project with our partners, Communities for a Healthy Bay. So we're incorporating ecology and learning about our commencement bay with making glass tiles. And so we're learning about diatoms and bulk kelp and different things. And then we're making a collaborative window with community members. And so totally fun. And I don't know if everybody's familiar with the Pilchuck Glass School, but Dale Chihuly also founded the Pilchuck Glass School here in Stanwood, and it's a really wonderful place for artists and students to go and learn different techniques and work together. And we take our students up to Pilchuck twice a year for 3-day residencies, once in the fall and once in the spring. And that's really a special time for our students. In these pictures, our students are working with Rios Friday and Cedric Mitchell, and it's just incredible them getting exposed to these artists and new techniques. There's Luis working on a lathe in the neon shop, and it's like, we don't have equipment like that, and so incredible. We work really closely with Crafting the Future, which is an organization that provides scholarships for BIPOC students to go to craft schools around the country. I believe this summer we had 15 students that participated in Crafting the Future experiences. As David said earlier in his video, he was a BIAT ambassador. We send 1 or 2 students to BIAT France every summer to work with Antoine Pierini. Zacabella is there right now and having a great time. We are working on establishing a collaboration with Laguna B and Autonoma in Murano, Italy, to do an exchange in Murano with our students. And we are one of the founder members of Glass Impact, which is a national consortium of public glass studios. And we meet once a month. And then I have some gather images. I just mentioned that exhibition at the Tacoma Art Museum. Trenton Kiocho is the curator of that show. He is a production manager at Hilltop Artists. And then there's a picture of some of the alumni who are in the show, some of which are exhibited here. It's incredible. It includes neon and flame working and paintings and Doug making hand signs with one of his totem pole memorial parks. But it's an incredible, exceptional show if you get a chance to see it. And I have another video next of Trenton, who is the curator of that show.
My name is Trenton Kiocho, and I'm from Tacoma, Washington. This week I'm exploring Filipino textile and traditional fish traps and motifs, and kind of reimagining traditional forms and sculptures into a new body of work made out of glass, kind of honoring my Filipino heritage. So I think the fish traps, just in general, just the shapes are they're really interesting. And then you throw in the texture and the patterns of the elements of it woven together. It's like individually they look good. If you just separate them together, it looks even better. But I'm learning a lot in the residency because part of me is like, maybe I should just focus on the form. Part of me is like, focus on the pattern. So it's like, it's a lot of new ideas that I've never worked on. Add another small chunk, and then body's all gonna be one piece. Yeah, but the legs I want brung as bits. So there'd be a body and legs on the body. Yeah. Kind of well, I'm thinking we just turn that. Yes, sir. I kind of want to do like the sitting form. So I don't know, like, basically like take that, kind of pull it into like a flattened piece. I don't know, like a Z almost, you know what I mean? And then the head goes on here, you know, for it. I think it's hot enough still. All over, hit it. I take a weird approach sometimes, and like I just make what I want to make. It kind of comes off the fly, and there will be some sketches and you know, color application, like deciding what colors I'm going to use. But for the most part, it's kind of freestyle, and then I'll make something, and then it won't work out very well the first time, and then it's like the second time it works out great, and then the third time it went back a step. But it's always nice to go back to previous ideas and kind of build off of those. Yeah, I think being a teacher or an educator, it can be difficult at times because, you know, kids are mean, and it's hard to reach them. But it's these relationships that you build with these people over, you know, 6-7 years sometimes, and it just kind of grows, and they start off as your students, and then eventually they become your friends. And you know, a lot of them, you know, came in at 13 and now they're 22. Yeah, let's do that. Make a big wide collar. And you know, there's always ones that like give you hard times, but you know, there's always a few cases where they come back and thank you. You don't always get that, but like that definitely makes you want to do it more. You know, having an opportunity to come here and work with the all-star team, you know, Sarah, Gabe, and Ben, it's definitely a huge step in my career. And coming up through as a young person coming in here at 15, and then now 15 years later being the person at the center bench as the artist has been kind of surreal. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a Yeah. Don't sweat it. It's lunchtime, folks.
So not so shameless plug. I will say, if you have Netflix, please watch season 3 of Blown Away, because our own Trenton Kyocho is one of the glassblowers in that show. Recently, we had the opportunity to take some of our middle school students up to Pilchuck to work with Better Together. Better Together is a collaborative of African American artists from around the country, and they do different programs in different cities, probably 2 or 3 times a year. And they were coming into town for the GAS conference, the Glass Art Society conference, and did a residency a week before. And so we got to take our students up there, and minds were blown for sure. Thurman Statham, Nate Watson, Jason McDonald, lots of really incredible artists were there. Thurman actually made houses with our students. That's what he does, is makes these plate glass houses. And yeah, he made them with our students. It was incredible. This photograph on the right, Xavier was making that bowl, and then he started writing on it, and it says prom. And so that bowl is a promposal. So all of us who were there were like, whoa, we're in it now, you gotta tell us. And the promposal was accepted. He had a wonderful time at prom, but when all the adults like clued into what it was, everybody's like, oh, you know, and it was fantastic. As I mentioned, the Glass Art Society conference, it just happened in Tacoma in May. We were excited to host Better Together as part of that, and then we also had an event at our hot shop. We had 150 students and artists that came to play Magic Stick for 3 hours while we had a soul food picnic, and it was a fun time to be had by all. We were able to host about 15 students from around the country, and so our students got to work with their compatriots from New Orleans and Newark, New Jersey, and San Francisco and Asheville, and they made a collaborative piece that it's hard to see, and there were like 17 students on the floor at the time working on this, and it's a globe with a mouth with teeth and a tongue sticking out, and then a cap that has the names of all the different youth programs on the cap. And so, incredible.
Where did that piece end up?
That is still at the Museum of Glass right now. And so we're trying to, we'll figure out where it's gonna go. But the group also made a cone like that's reminiscent of the hot shop at the Museum of Glass, and so in silver and then covered with flowers. Each student made a flower, and we've loaned that to Amanda Westbrook at City Line, and so that's going to be in their studio for the next few months. So when she does her show, it's going to be there. So pretty cool. So thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate your support. Hey, Elena. Thank you. Thank you.
Be sure to stop in and see Hilltop Artists, our August exhibition on view from the 5th through the 28th, and learn all about this wonderful social justice program based in Tacoma, Washington.